visiting OMG Hour.
Welcome, everybody. It is June 19th, 2020, and this is episode number 372 of the OMG Hour. I am Sean Evans, otherwise known as the guy hosting this show, Zion Tane.
You couldn't just leave it without saying your name, could you? Could you? Well, I'm not even going to say my name. That's how confident I feel that people already know who I am.
I don't even know who you are.
You know who I am.
Like every week, one week goes by, I'm like, oh yeah, I have a show. Who's that guy that hosts with me?
Yeah, who carries the bulk of the...
does all the work?
Not the work, but, the other bits.
I got like a single hair just hanging down right here. Just straight down.
Pull it.
Yeah, well, I probably could. I can't get it now. That's just not interesting radio.
No, it's less interesting radio.
Well, it's funny because I say that, and yet there's going to be stuff we're going to talk about later that was just as interesting.
Yeah.
If not less so.
Well, I thought your beard hair was part of the...
It would have been more interesting. It would have been more interesting had it...
Wasn't one of your beard hairs just shaped into a golden letter somewhere on the...
It might have been, but let's talk about that later.
All right.
So this week I've been continuing on through The Last of Us Part 2. Nothing huge I want to add since last week. I'll just play a few random bits that I recorded actually before last week. So this is very early in the game because I don't want to give anything away. But last night was it was an epic play session last night. What I really actually like about the game is that it's really set up in these perfect chunks. There'll be a lot of exploration, and then there'll be this battle scene, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean? Like action will just happen, and it's unnerving. It's your heart is beating. It's pretty epic scenes sometimes. And last night was no different. I entered this underground. It's like an abandoned subway station, and I was being hunted by this faction of humans. But in this underground railway or underground area, there was also the clickers, the ones who are blind but can hear you if there's movement or if there's sound. So I thought, I'm going to use the clickers and see if I can get them to attack the humans. So all I did is I threw a brick. That's it. One single brick, picked it up, and I threw it across the room. All the clickers went, and they started rushing. And because I made the sound as well, the humans were all then moving, trying to find me, which attracted the clickers to them. And there was just mass chaos of the clickers and the humans fighting each other. And I'm just off in the corner, staying away, watching it all happen. It was so freaking epic. It was awesome. I basically used the clickers to kill the enemy, and then there were 2 clickers left for me to take out. That's so awesome.
I love when you can do that in a game where you can use the enemies as an environment, when there's multiple factions, and you can use them as part of the environment to take out your enemy. Yeah,
exactly. So that was so awesome. I had to talk about that. The game is really fun. It's a gorgeous game, and it plays so well. So definitely, it is out now as of today, the 19th. So I was very, very fortunate to be able to play this early, and I am thoroughly enjoying this way more than I enjoyed the first one. Way more, like 100 times better than the first game. Even though I'm not saying the first game was bad, I'm just enjoying it that much more.
Well, I may actually have to play this then.
Maybe.
Maybe?
Oh, maybe. Okay. On the same note, because it's related to the game, sort of, I think I might have mentioned a week or so ago that my Astro A50s were not holding They're not holding
Sure.
a charge anymore. I've had them for years. Great headphones. I highly recommend them, but they're not cheap. They're like a $300 headphone, right? And
Yeah.
fortunately, I received it years and years ago to review on on our website, and I've been using them ever since for both the PlayStation and the Xbox. But since they don't even hold a charge, they actually got to the point where as soon as I took them off the charger, they were dying. Like not even an hour, like immediately. They were not even taking a charge, let alone holding one.
Yeah. So that you need new headsets. So Sean, what did you get?
So I ended up getting, after somebody recommended it, I got the Last of Us. I don't know if you can see that there. The Last of Us Part 2 Special Edition PlayStation Gold headset. Wireless headset. They come with just a simple USB dongle that you can plug into the PlayStation. It also works on PC, so I could plug it into the PC and use it. I could use it right now if I had the dongle plugged in. 7.1 surround in the headset. Absolutely beautifully made. Sounds amazing. Been using them for The Last of Us. I throw them into DTS, 7.1 surround, and it is just gorgeous. Like you can hear, like I swear you can actually hear things behind you. It's set up that way. It's set up in not just like when there's characters to the side of me, I hear it to the side, but I also hear sounds behind me in the headphones. It's like, it's almost surreal, the fact that it makes it sound like it's physically behind me.
Does it creep you out at all?
No, I think it's so cool. Like I'm actually more amazed than creeped out. Do you know what I mean? It's so immersive because of it. But yeah, so these were, I think I paid $100 for them. They're really good. I mean, it's better than $300 for the Astro A50s, and they're wireless. Just put them on, turn them on, and you're good to go. And the mic is built in. There's no mic boom.
There's nothing you have to kick out.
No, their mic is actually built into them, and it's actually a noise canceling mic too, so that your friends don't hear. They don't hear anything. They don't hear room. They just hear you. So yeah. Great mic, great headphones. Highly recommend them.
Nice.
Perfect substitute for my A50s. So there you go.
Well, that's good.
That's my gaming week. Other than still playing Animal Crossing every day, because
yeah. Well, I actually played the PlayStation.
What?
I know, it's weird.
You turned on. Do you even remember how to play a PlayStation game?
I'll be honest with you. I did not remember how to turn it on. So I got it turned on, and then
you just press the PlayStation button on the controller.
Yeah, but the controller was dead.
Oh, then just plug it in.
So I plugged it in on my desk.
Oh.
To charge it, and so, but it wouldn't keep the connection with the PlayStation.
No, because now it's connected to your computer.
Yeah, so it would turn on the PlayStation, but then it would, because I hadn't turned on my PlayStation so long, it needed an update.
Of course.
And it's like, well, press this button before I'll be willing to let you do an update. And I'm like, and I'm pressing the button, it's not doing anything. So I finally plugged it straight into the PlayStation and figured out how to do that, which it took far longer. I'm like, I should be smarter than this. I should be able to figure this out. And it took far longer than it should have.
You know what? Sometimes I feel that way when I go to use my Xbox after a while. I'm like,
it's just like,
what am I doing again? What?
It's like, I know I've done this before. I know these things work together.
Right.
This is a place So anyways, I figured it out. But having watched Sony's reveal last week, and that there is a new chapter to the Spider-Man game, I'm like, I never finished that. And I'm like, I'm gonna hop back in and play some Spider-Man. So I've been playing a ton of Spider-Man.
Do you find that when you switch back to PlayStation, not playing it as often as I do, for example, do you find it difficult to get into a PlayStation game because of the controller, because the controlling mapping is different? Like I find when you don't tend to use a particular controller on a regular basis, when it feels strange in your hands, it's almost difficult to play a game. I find that anyway.
I find the controllers are similar, and I've been going back and forth because I'm still logging into my Xbox and playing a few things there, and then playing a few hours of Spider-Man, because I'm really enjoying the story of Spider-Man. and like I'm going back and forth, but I'm not really feeling it's too much different. I mean, now that I've gotten used to all of the moves that Spider-Man can do, now it's just instinctive, like, and I don't even think about like press. There are a few things when you run into a new scenario and it's like press the X button, and I'm like,
You're pressing the wrong button. Yeah.
no, I immediately just pull it up. That one's the X.
That's yeah.
and I'll pull that up to just make sure that I'm hitting the right button. But yeah, I'm really loving it. I'm like I think 70% through the story now, and then I've got the DLC to play after that. But I just,
you know what would be awesome, and this is something that's probably never going to happen, but every game made has controller mappings and controller icons built in. Okay, so Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a PlayStation exclusive, but I believe it's coming to PC. So, in order to come to PC, it has to have both Xbox and PlayStation button images as part of it based on whatever controller you're using.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool that even on PlayStation you could say, give me the Xbox layout? Right?
Yeah.
Prompt me with Xbox buttons, not PlayStation buttons. You know what I'm saying? Because your mind knows what that button is without looking.
If you say press A, I know which button like on the controller where
Exactly. Wouldn't it be cool if you could say, give me the Xbox layout? All it does is swap image.
Yeah.
Right?
And
so that your brain doesn't have to think, where's the button?
Yeah, like when I play a game on my PC, on my laptop, and I plug in the Xbox controller, it gives me those prompts. And when I unplug the Xbox controller to play it, it gives me prompts of spacebar and...
Right. Exactly. It's context sensitive. And on the PC, in a lot of more modern games now, if you plug in a PlayStation 4 controller, it then swaps to PlayStation prompts.
Yeah. It's probably not going to happen. Listen, my ideal thing would be that Microsoft and Sony get together and they trade a couple of titles back and forth.
Right. Like, well, with crossplay happening, right? Crossplay is way more prominent now. And we'll get to it later, but EA, during their EA Play Live, they talked a lot about crossplay over all of the ecosystems.
Yeah, but I'd love to play this game with some achievements. I'd love to have some of these games come out on the Xbox. I'm really enjoying playing on the PlayStation right now, and I know there's a lot of games that I've played briefly that I enjoyed that I never went back to.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do Spider-Man. There's some Horizon game or something like that I've heard something about that might be
maybe
okay. I don't know. I'll give that one another try. Detroit Become Human. I've never actually played. I played at PAX, but I've never actually had a copy of that to play. So that's one that was just on sale too. So I'm gonna go through and play some of these. Like, I'm still stuck at home. May as well enjoy some of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Time and play.
Detroit is such a fantastic game. We talked about it back when it was out, but what's great about that game is actually discussing how different your experience is over someone else's, because of so many choices that you could do. You could have a completely different ending to your story. You could get scenes that happen in your story that never happened in mine, which I did. I know I talked to a friend of mine. I said, "Oh yeah, it was in the such and such a scene," and she's like, "I never got that. I never had that location, let alone that scene."
Yeah.
So it was like, what? So, because something was happening at like a bus station for me. And I'm like, oh yeah, I had to do something to get a ticket at the bus station. She's like, what bus station? She never even went there.
That branching story is so, and I'm looking forward to trying more of these things. And it's nice because we are seeing a bit of a slowdown in releases of stuff right now. So for me, I'm going back to stuff that was great when it came out, but I can just go from great game to great game to great game.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I haven't really played them, and that's like on the Xbox. I'm feeling like, okay, there's some releases, but there's nothing that's really jumping out saying, oh, you've got to play this right now. So it's easy to switch.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate right now for Xboxes. There's like, what are the exclusives? What are the must-have titles on Xbox right now? Like, I feel like the only must-have sort of on Xbox is just Game Pass itself.
which gives you, all of the stuff. I mean, they have some great titles. I mean, with Forza and Gears and Halo, there are some fantastic titles.
Yeah, but those are not like
But
right now titles. You know what
no,
I'm
but
saying?
there's nothing that's like I'm even looking in their window, and I know they haven't had their press conference yet, so they'll probably announce a few things. But there's nothing that's going like I've got to get going on this right away.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Yeah.
I did play my Xbox a bit this week. So I did play. There's a new title. It came out. I want to say I don't know what day we are today. Friday.
Friday.
So
That's
I
what,
want
since we're recording a show, it must be Friday.
it might be Friday. This came out a couple of days ago. A Desperado III
Oh
on
yeah.
the Xbox.
Tell
And this
me
is
about
one
this
that
game.
I was interested in. So it's actually on Game Pass as well. So that's the nice thing about Game Pass is that all these things keep popping up. And I noticed this week seems to be the West week. Like there was another Western game, two Western games that dropped on Xbox, another one on Game Pass today. But Desperados 3 was one that I was interested in. I'm trying to think of this top-down view. It is. Do you remember the game we played at PAX a number of years back called Shadow Tactics?
Yes.
So this is Shadow Tactics Old West Edition.
That's exactly what it looks like. Is it the same developer?
I don't know if it's the same developer.
It looks identical with that last save timer on the top of the screen, with the way the camera works, the controls.
It plays exactly like it, and the look and feel is exactly the same. It's brutal, but it's not as brutal. But it almost looks like they reskinned that game with an Old West theme.
I prefer the original theme.
I liked both, but I am a fan of the Western. I like a good Western. I don't know
I've
why.
never been a huge Western fan.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy a good Western, in particular, like stuff like Red Dead. Obviously, is like at least the original I played to death. The Undead Nightmare I played a ton of. It's a lot of trial and error trying to figure out how do I get past these guys. It's a lot of stealth, which, as we both know,
you're not good at.
Not my forte. But I've been getting it, and it's a lot of trial and error. So you do have to remember to save. You can save at any point. You just hit the menu button, and it'll save at any point. You do have to remember to do it, because that's why that little thing goes up there. Like, how long can you go without saving?
It's a reminder to save, not a how long can you go.
It's a bit of a challenge, though, too. Like, it's a reminder, but like the save thing is not like just an instant we saved your game. You press the button and it pops up a little black screen and saying, "Hey, we're saving your game." So you have to go through the annoyance of that if you don't want to.
Right.
If you don't. But it's the same thing. Controlling multiple characters. You can control them both together. You can split them up. They have different skill sets. I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm not good at it.
I was not good at Shadow Tactics. It was, it got really difficult really fast.
Yeah, and that's what I found. And I have not found that amped up. I'm bad at it still, but I haven't found that amped up. Like, there's no way I'm going to do this difficulty feeling to it yet.
Yeah, but you have to get past the first level. So.
Well, I'm just saying I haven't found it yet. I mean, I know, but I'm just like I couldn't get past the first level in Shadow Tactics. It was Shadow Tactics also on Game Pass, by the way.
Oh, really? So you can go back. You can try to get back to it.
I might now. Like, I'm playing this through, and I'm like, okay, this is fun. I like the Old West, and I think I did. By the way, I did get past the first level. It's the second level.
Oh.
That I did not. I'm sorry, I got past the tutorial level, but that's still the tutorial level comes first.
Great.
And therefore, first level.
Have you ever not gotten through a tutorial of a game? Or do you want to admit that you never got past a tutorial in a game?
I don't know. I can't think of a game off the top of my head, but I know there are games that I've played through the tutorial, and there has been some either brutal difficulty curves on performing a certain move or something like that. Like one of those, like, oh, hit A, B, B, X, Y, 2 behind your head and to do this move. And
and you didn't have your tongue facing the right way.
Right. And I've done it a couple of times, and I've given up on it partially because that's a stupid thing to do in the tutorial. I ramp up to that, for one thing. For another, I didn't enjoy the game. Like there's games like that where I just did not enjoy myself enough in that half of the tutorial I played to really want to go back and grind out the tutorial.
There was a tutorial that I hated, and you couldn't skip it. It was in The Witcher 2, Assassin of Kings or something like that.
Yeah.
It was basically teaching you how to use the spells. And it was this almost like an arena style thing that you were forced to do.
Yeah.
And you had to pass the tutorial to continue the game. And it was such a weird control scheme that it took me what felt like forever just to pass the tutorial of learning how to do these things, because it didn't feel like a natural control thing to do.
Yeah,
you know,
I've had a couple of fighting games where you go through the tutorial and it's trying to teach you the advanced moves. You get to that stage and it's like, a quick flick left, ABB, and stuff like that, and you cannot. I just can't get it. Like you fortunately can skip through those and just go out and play the game. But I've given up on tutorials there before because of that level of frustration. Like I'm not going to use this move in the game.
No,
I don't
exactly.
need to know how to do the double backflip off the wall and punch the guy. I'll just run in and shoot him.
That's right.
And I don't need that move. And so I have felt that before with some tutorials. But there are some games where the game itself in the tutorial bothers me enough that I didn't enjoy the tutorial, couldn't get through this part because of whatever. And I'm not that interested in playing the game.
Yeah. I've been there.
Like it's like when you go somewhere, it's like, sorry, sir, you're going to need to wear a shirt and shoes to come in here. You're like, well, forget it. I'm just going home.
That true story, right?
Yeah. I failed to tutorial to get into a store. That's what happened.
Well, speaking of The Witcher, Cyberpunk 2077, of course, the developers of The Witcher.
Yes.
They have delayed Cyberpunk again. It has now been delayed another 2 months until November 19th. What did we discuss last week, Tico? There's something we discussed last week that I felt was actually coming out on November 20th. Do you remember what that was?
There's maybe some new
consoles, maybe some new
coming
machines?
out right around that window.
What? I mean, what a coincidence that this game is being postponed until a console release window? What?
Yeah.
That just can't be coincidence now, can it?
It might be, but it's not.
How much money did Sony and Microsoft put on the table for them to say, hey, come on, let's just delay the game a little bit. We want to use it as a system seller.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it makes sense. Giving them some extra time to polish some stuff, whether it was needed or not, I'm okay with.
Yes, we're going to let the Polish polish their game.
Right. The Polish polish. Let them throw that on there. Let them do whatever. I mean, if it's going to come out, like, it's one of those things where, like, do I want to play it on the less impressive system? It's one of those ones that you really want to play it on the prettiest machine you can.
But here's the thing. It is going to be forward compatible, obviously, with the new gen. Although it's funny because they actually have an article out there saying it's been confirmed to be backward compatible with PS5 and Series X. And I'm reading this, I'm like, I think you mean forward compatible, guys.
Well, okay. For one thing, they are Polish speakers. So, give them a little bit of a break. English is not a first language, but they may be, like we spoke about earlier, I said they may be thinking this is set in 2077, so it is backwards compatible
to 2020.
To 2020, these old retro consoles. That's like us finding something that's backwards compatible to, like, the NES system.
Cyberpunk 2077, I hope, is backwards compatible to the NES.
Well, there you go.
I want to plug in my NES Mini and play Cyberpunk 2077. Can I do that?
You can, Sean.
Excellent. That's all.
I mean, you can't play it on the NES.
How about my Game Boy?
Yeah, you can plug in all of those things and play Cyberpunk 2077. You'll just have to play it on either a PlayStation 5 or PS4.
So anyway, it's been delayed. But here's the thing about the delay. Even though it's going to be forward compatible, the additional assets and code that will make it run better on the new system isn't going to be available at launch.
Well, that's weird.
Right?
Why not? Make
Right?
it available at launch. If you have all this time to polish. Finish the code instead.
It's like, wait a minute, what? Right? So the play, what's it called? The smart delivery,
Yeah.
which will allow it to essentially upgrade itself. The upgrade patch isn't going to be made available right away.
So
It will come later.
So they're using like Uber to do the smart delivery, like Uber Eats. It's like, here's your meal. We forgot your drinks.
Yes. And you have to go get it yourself.
Yeah. That's what's happening now.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I find that interesting. There's just, honestly, I don't think it's a coincidence it's been delayed until the launch of the consoles. I really don't think there's any coincidence there. We said that already earlier in the year, that its original delay until September was to bring it closer to the launch of the consoles.
Yeah, and now that we have because originally they were talking around a September console release date.
Well, it was always holiday.
Yeah, well, September's part of the holiday.
Holiday starts, I believe, October.
Labor Day, September 3rd.
That's not
it's a whole.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Tico. Arbor Day.
Arbor Day is a key flag day. Come on. There are some options.
There's no coincidence here. Let's talk about EA Live for a minute.
Did you fall asleep?
Oh, man. I felt like... Okay, so EA Live was last night.
Yeah.
At around 7 p.m. Eastern. I watched it around 9 p.m. after it was all done. I had to ignore yours and Glenn's comments during the show.
That was mainly Glenn. I was ignoring them as well because I got to about a quarter of the way through this thing and then just messaged Glenn. It's like, I'm turning this off. Let me know if anything cool gets announced.
So nothing cool got announced except Star Wars Squadrons, which was already announced,
which had already been leaked.
But they showed more actual gameplay, talked about the game itself. I'm going to be honest, it was about an hour. I think it was 50 minutes or something. The only thing that came out of that was of any interest to me whatsoever is Star Wars Squadrons. It's going to be there's a single player campaign that you will play both a pilot on the Imperial as well as the New Republic side. So you will create two pilots. The other surprise to me, which was awesome, is that the entire campaign can be played in VR. And that is awesome because one of the best VR experiences that I've had on PSVR is the Star Wars Battlefront demo, or I think it was cockpit. You were in a X-Wing.
Yeah.
And it was a very small campaign, story. It was maybe 15 minutes long, but it is one of the most glorious VR experiences. Piloting an X-Wing in VR was amazing. Flying past this massive Star Destroyer in VR. And they're telling me that the entire Star Wars Squadron story will be playable in VR. That's amazing.
No, I've seen at a price point of $39 US.
You cut out there. So
I don't know how accurate that was.
You need to replay your statement.
All right, I have seen this listed at a price point of $39 US.
Seriously?
I don't know how accurate that is. It was an ad for it. I don't know. I can't remember where I saw it or any of that details.
Well, I don't know. That seems odd. It seems like it's going to be a full-fledged game. It's got full-on campaign plus full-on multiple multiplayer campaign types. This does not seem like a budget title.
That's what I was thinking myself, and I'm like, that seems like a really good price point because it had the price point of the game, including some cosmetic junk.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to read a grain of salt into that.
I'm looking it up right now. Apparently, the original for the Nintendo 64 is $1,100, but that's probably
what?
Somebody's selling the disc, the cartridge for the N64 for $1,100
of Star Wars Squadrons.
Rogue Squadron is
Yeah, that's not the same game.
What? Oh,
Anyway,
I'm looking this up right now as we talk, and this is great. Remember we talked about that
this
radio?
this is good radio, Tico. Anyway, so I think EA Play Live was a lot more about board games because I was completely bored at all the games they showed.
Listen, I get people like The Sims. I don't.
Well, they talked about Sims. They talked about Apex Legends. Hey, wait a minute. Did you notice something about the Apex Legends stuff? Apex Legends Season 5 is being advertised as Lost Treasures. Tico, I don't know what that sounds familiar to me. I can't quite place where I've heard that before.
Lost Treasures with your gaming archaeologist, Sid Bolton.
Why can't I place that? I wonder why that sounds familiar.
I mean, it's not like, it's ever been used anywhere for anything ever.
In relation to gaming. So, thanks, EA. When's our cut? Just write the check out to. How about 2 checks? One to me and one to Tico, and how about 3 checks? Let's write a check to Sid's widow. Because Sid was part of that as well. So thanks very much for honoring Sid in such a way. That's great.
By stealing a title.
Yeah.
From they figure the Canadians won't push back.
They won't care because we don't matter.
Yeah, I don't. They announced a few little things as well, like some small indie. Not, I guess not. They're indie titles, right?
They're all indie.
They're still indie.
A lot of indie titles. Another game from the creators of A Way Out. The crazy guy from
the swearing guy, yeah.
F the Grammys, or no, F the Oscars.
Yeah, I mean, none of them really stood out. The game by Zoink, I can't remember the name of it, it did look kind of cool. It had sort of that Nightmare Before Christmas sort of feel to it, Tim Burton-esque feel to it.
I'm going to be honest, none of those indie titles appeal. Nothing about that show appealed to me except Star Wars.
Yeah.
And there's so much they could have talked about. Like, where's the next? Tell us about the next Need for Speed. Tell us something about the next Dragon Age. Tell us,
like Dead Space is an IP that they've had that everybody has been clamoring for another one.
Oh, we're never going to see another Dead Space.
We will.
It's dead in space.
I've now said it.
It's
here.
Dead in space.
But I want to play another Dead Space, Sean.
Do you though?
Or remaster Dead Space, remaster Mass Effect.
Have you finished all 3 Dead Space games?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, I know. I finished all 3 of them. I enjoyed all 3 of them. I would like a 4th one, or a remaster. I mean, everybody's doing remasters now. Do another remaster. How hard is that to do? Do more remasters.
Tico just wants every game remastered for the next gen system. He doesn't want new games. He just wants everything remastered.
Listen, I'm okay if it's a good game. I'm okay with playing it again with better graphics and better controls and stuff like that with the next gen systems.
I want to see demasters.
Demasters.
Take Dead Space and make it a 16-bit side scroller.
The Mummy game did that. The Mummy demastered.
That's what we should be doing.
Yeah, just like making them like make them all like Atari games.
Yes. Let's just bring back the Atari, Atari 2600 cartridges, and let's just take let's take Mass Effect Trilogy and put it on Atari 2600.
You know what they should be doing is making a new E.T. game.
Remaster. The definitive edition.
How much fun that would be if they announced like a new E.T. game with like all new graphics and everything like that. The same piece of crap game that they put out the first time, just with like current gen graphics. Better
looking graphics, but it plays the same.
It plays exactly the same.
E.T. still gets stuck in the pit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I also
so that's it.
Movie. I'm talking more.
That's EA Play Live. I mean, it was boring. It was a waste of my time, to be honest with you. And Squadrons was they announced a new skate game. Woo!
That was leaked weeks ago too.
I'm like, okay, is Skate really that big a deal that they had to make such a huge deal about this announcement?
Apparently, because everybody's coming out with a Skate game now. There's a new Tony Hawk coming out.
Yeah,
There's
but
a new Skate game coming out, and Microsoft has something that's currently on the preview program. I can't remember what it's called, but some form of skating game.
is it really that big a deal though? When they said we have some big announcement to make, I honestly thought they were going to come up with like Dragon Age 4.
Yeah,
You know?
something from one of the big selling IPs. Listen, I know a lot of people enjoyed Skate. It was not my cup of tea. But I know a lot of people did really enjoy the Skate games, the Tony Hawk games. They do enjoy that genre. It's like for me, the Skate games are like somebody trying to get you to play a hockey game.
Yeah. I don't do that.
So-
Homie don't play that.
No,
No.
no hockey games for you.
Homie don't play that. Sorry.
All right.
All right, let's talk about television and movies because you've been watching stuff. I haven't been watching much. The 100 season 7 is on now. Dorothy and I are still going through the past seasons of Whose Line. I'm still watching through the Drew Carey show. I'm not really watching anything new right now.
No, I'm not watching a ton of new stuff. I mean, there's a few things that have sort of popped up that I'll check out as they go, but there's not really been a ton of great stuff. There was a new horror movie that came out though, called, I guess it's a horror thriller called Becky. And I stopped and paused for you to play footage, which I realized we don't have footage of any of that because that's not something we do for TV or movies. I just stopped for fun. So this is. It was a straight to whatever they call straight to video on demand. It is listed as a thriller. It is a very interesting title. It is basically a adult version of Home Alone. So instead
of Kevin, it's Becky.
Instead of Kevin, it's Becky. It is this girl. She goes with her family or her father and his father's girlfriend up to their lake house. Or cabin, and I guess for some reason, some guy who just broke out of prison has hidden something in the basement of that house at some point before they owned it, and he has come back for it.
You know what's weird about this? Isn't this like Kevin James or something?
It is Kevin James playing.
But Kevin James is like a comedic actor, is he not?
He is, like King of Queens. Like this is his first role where it has not. He has played somebody in a role where it's not been. I guess he's done some more serious stuff too, but this is the first role where he's played a villain. So he plays a neo-Nazi who has escaped from prison, and he does a phenomenal job. This is Kevin James. This is a guy who you've done nothing but laugh at. I mean, he's like he shows up in all of Adam Sandler's movies, just because they're best buds.
He was in Pixels, right? Wasn't he the president in Pixels?
Yeah. And he does such a good job of playing a neo-Nazi bad guy in this that you.
So is he still playing the president then?
The different president, but yeah. He does and it's so weird to see him too. Like he's got a big Sean beard on him.
Good.
A little bigger than what you got now. Shaved head because he's a skinhead.
What are you saying, Tico?
I'm saying shaved head. Yours is not
okay. Not shaved. Okay, not intentional. Good.
Try to dance around that one. Covered with Nazi tattoos and everything. But he makes you as an actor. He does an amazing job of making you hate him as the bad guy, and you're not sitting there going, this is Kevin James. This is a neo-Nazi jackass they play. So it's a collection of neo-Nazis who have escaped from prison who are coming to try to find this thing in the house, and they're chasing after this girl who's loose in the woods, and she's setting traps for them and stuff like that. It is Home Alone, but like a lot gorier. I mean, the first guy she kills, she stabs in the neck with a sharpened ruler, and then proceeds to stab him in the back with sharpened pencil crayons.
What?
So very violent.
Okay, so how old is Becky in this?
She is got to be about, I don't know, I'd say 12, 13
No.
maybe.
Are you serious?
I'm not sure how old the character is. But yeah, like she's not like, this is not like a 19, 20-year-old kid. This is a kid who is under the age of 15.
Wow.
Absolutely. It is the equivalent of Kevin, really, going
Yeah.
after
So it literally is. It's Home Alone as a slasher horror.
yeah, and I got to imagine that's where they took their cues from. Um, it is fun. It is violent, and like we watched the whole thing, and like as she's taken out one by one all of these neo Nazis, it is just
Mayhem.
it's mayhem, but it is entertaining mayhem. Like we enjoyed the entire thing. It is not for those with like a weak stomach. There, it is very violent. Like she's stabbing guys. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of gore.
Is it more? Would you say it's more along the lines of like a Rambo as opposed to a horror?
It's more like, that's why I say a thriller more than a horror. It's not a lot of jump scares or anything like that. It's more, yeah, like Rambo, where she's hiding out in the woods and setting traps for these guys who are coming after her.
Okay, that's cool. That would be worth watching then. If it's sort of along the lines of a Rambo or First Blood, because Rambo can get gory, but it's not a horror. It's just it's survival.
It's more survival, but again, some violent.
Oh, sure.
Very violent, deaths for these guys. There's I don't want to spoil any more of them other than this first one that I already sort of spoiled, but it still gives you a good idea of how violent and stuff this can be.
I noticed on our show notes here that you have something that we've never done before.
Yeah,
you actually put down that you read a book.
I've started to read a book.
Do you?
Wait,
so you know
how to read.
You know how to read.
Front door.
Okay, someone's at the front door apparently, according to my Google.
So I put down. It's a book called NBA Jam that I just picked up, and this is probably way too bright. I don't know how that's.
Yeah, I can't see it.
It's not going to show up, but it is by a company called Boss Fight Books, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this. So this is the story of the Midway arcade classic NBA Jam, and how that got made, and all of the pitfalls. I mean, I'm sure you're aware. Acclaim did the home console version, and they went out of business, and so it's the early days of Midway of how they got the NBA license and how they did that.
Isn't NBA Jam the game that Dan Amrich is in?
Is he in a game?
I think he's
in a basketball game, the big-headed basketball game.
Yeah, I don't know if it's NBA Jam, and he's got his bunny ears on. And they made a character out of him back in his days when he was at like Game Pro, and he's in the game.
It could be. There was like they did put a lot of unlockable characters. George Clinton from the Parliament Funkadelic, Bill Clinton I think was unlockable in it. So there's a number of players that they added in. All of the devs you could unlock them to throw them into the game. But it's really interesting from the early days of how that game got made. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is I'm a big sports fan. I'm a big NBA fan, and NBA Jam fan as well. Like I actually had one of those arcade machines sitting in my office for the longest time.
I just looked it up. Yep. Dan Amrich posted on Twitter on January 9th, "It's weird to read a book and suddenly find you're in it. I thought I might just be offering background for the NBA Jam book, but there I am." And it's on, I don't know what page it is, but it shows his Kindle. Dan Amrich started his mornings with NBA Jam shortly before being hired at the popular video game magazine Game Pro, where he became better known as Dan Electro. And it just keeps going on. And so I was sure this was the game that Dan.
That's very cool. I haven't gotten to that part. The reason why I want to bring this up, again, I'm the big sports fan, but this is a series of books that they have done. There are 22 books in total in this series, and each one covers different games. So like Earthbound, Chrono Trigger, Galaga, Super Mario Brothers 2, Baldur's Gate 2, Metal Gear Solid, Shadow of the Colossus, World of Warcraft, Mega Man 3, Kingdom Hearts 2, Shovel Knight, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Ooh. And these are all by Boss Fight Books?
Boss Fight Books. They are $15 to $20 or something like that.
Ooh.
For these like tiny little books. It's what is this like?
And are they available on Indigo or Chapters?
I got this off of Amazon,
Okay.
so I imagine they probably are. But I ordered it, was here a day and a half later. But I just, because of the content of that book, I wanted to mention it. Like I've just started reading it, just because I wanted to get a book. We were ordering some books for Leah, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna grab a copy of this because I'm interested in this, and it's super interesting to read the story of how these things get made. But I also thought that because of the other games that are talked about in the the different books, that it might be something that's worth mentioning from these guys.
Yeah, I'm finding a lot of them. If you just type boss fight books onto Amazon, a whole bunch of them come up. Katamari Damacy, Spelunky, World of Warcraft. There's Knights of the Old Republic. Man, I got to get that one. It's only $8 for the Kindle version.
Yeah.
So, but still, I mean, Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, like these are the games we grew up with. So to hear the story
Galaga?
of how these games got put together and built would be, it's really interesting.
Yeah. I think I'm going to order the Knights of the Old Republic one. At least I'm going to add it to my cart. That's great, because you know what? I was looking for something else to order. I want to order something, but it was like $5. I'm like, I don't know what else to order, so this is great. I could find a couple of books to throw in my cart.
Find a couple of books and get your free shipping in there.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Thanks for that. I didn't even know those existed.
Yeah, I happened across it as I don't even remember why I happened across it. I was just looking for something to read, and I'm like, NBA Jam. I'm like, is this about? And they're like, read, and like, oh, this is about the video game series. Like, I'm gonna check this out.
That's so cool. Awesome. And of course, NBA Jam's right up your jam.
It was one
It's
of
your
my
jam.
favorites. It was one of my favorite arcade games. And just super interesting about, like, I was reading, like, the guy who did the characters for it, like all the character modeling. He had to draw them all by hand. They sent him all of the players that were in the game. They sent him just the front face profile, so he had to extrapolate from that and do the sides.
Oh,
of the head
really?
in order to be able to put that, in order to do that. So I think he said it was like 22 days or something like that, just drawing heads.
Wow. And yeah, I believe you said there's how many in the series? Because when I looked it up, there was like the NBA Jam is book number 21.
Yeah. So in the back of the book, it says also from Buster Books, and there's 22 books, and then there's a continue.
Baldur's
with a question
Gate.
mark.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm gonna look up more. But yeah, there's a Baldur's Gate one. This is great. I'm gonna have some fun looking at that stuff.
Do you know how to read too?
A little bit. I'm learning.
Okay. I mean, they're smaller books, so they might be good for you.
Good beginners books.
Sure.
So finally, one last thing we want to talk about, which I think is, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to think. AMC Theaters is going to reopen during the coronavirus pandemic, and they will not enforce masks.
So
their employees will wear masks.
Yeah.
They will social distance in the theater, but customers will not, or patrons, I guess they're called, will not be forced to wear masks in the theater.
So this is AMC. We reported a couple of weeks ago, was on, I don't remember if we reported it or we just chatted about it. I can't remember. But they were on the verge of not being sure if they were going to reopen.
So this is their last ditch effort.
This is they are opening. They are opening earlier than they should. They are opening without enough protocols in place, because a lot of people get really upset about having to wear masks.
Ridiculously so.
Like, I hate wearing a mask. It's uncomfortable. I have asthma. I do have problems breathing.
And you can't eat popcorn.
You can. You pull it back, you throw the popcorn, and then it snaps it right back into your mouth.
Oh, so you throw the popcorn up, and then snap it, and it pushes the popcorn in.
Yeah, it's
just snap, throw, drop. Like, that's great.
You could just attach.
Just launch.
Just get the popcorn bag and attach the ear hole things right onto the popcorn bag and have like a feed bag.
Oh, that's even better. Just instead of requiring masks, make the popcorn bag your mask.
Yeah,
and you just eat the popcorn while you're watching the movie.
Exactly. I think that this is going to be a mistake. I think that they're open back up. They're trying to pander to people who are concerned about wearing masks, so they're not going to make them wear masks. I think more people will stay away because of the seeming lack of protection they're going to get.
I think the people who are going to go are those who, well, for lack of better words, those who don't believe this pandemic is actually real.
And it's going to take, and we've seen this with a number of restaurants and stuff like that, and grocery stores and places where it's going to take, somebody's going to catch it, and it's going to be an employee at one of these places, and we're going to see reports of, AMC closed down due to, corona outbreak.
Like 5 employees test positive or something.
Yeah, and that's all it's going to take, and they're going to be, I don't know, I guess last ditch effort to try to save their theaters at this point. I don't know if it's a great idea. I'm not in any rush to get back out to a movie theater.
No,
that's not a drive-in. I mean,
no, I agree. I am not going to the theater anytime soon. It's just not that important to me.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, just while we're on that topic, and we only got a few minutes left, the Ontario government is developing an app alongside Spotify and BlackBerry. BlackBerry's involved because they are one of the best for security on the planet. But they're developing an app that you can download to your phone. It does not take any of your personal information, doesn't share anything. All it does, using Bluetooth, it detects other devices around it as you travel. Only devices that have that app. And what it's supposed to do is that if you happen to contract COVID, your physician will give you a code that you type into the app that then notifies anyone who came near you. It doesn't say who you are. It doesn't know your name. All it knows is that someone else's device was within Bluetooth distance of your device. And it notifies those people that someone you may have come in contact with has tested positive.
It is an interesting idea. I don't like and I know we're all being tracked and listened to by our devices and everything like that on a regular basis. So if they really wanted this information, I don't know. The idea when hearing about it does not make me feel comfortable.
See,
that being said,
I don't
necessarily know if it's any different than me having like 6 Google devices in my house that when I happen to mention, popcorn, I'm going to get 45 different popcorn ads from Uber Eats on my Facebook the next time I look at it.
And that's just it. As someone who has worked at BlackBerry and understands these things, there is zero risk to this app. And I understand what the app is doing because, one, the app is using Bluetooth, which isn't transmitting your data. It is a communication path. All it's doing is says, oh, there's another app close in. I've come in contact with another app.
Yeah, it's the same thing when you play Pokemon Go and it says, hey, this other trainer's, within, X number of feet of you or something like that. I get that. It's just the idea of the government tracking where you're going. Well,
that's just it. They're not. The government isn't tracking any because none of the information on your phone leaves your phone.
Right.
Nobody's tracking it. The government is not receiving any information from the app. It's not sending information. All it's doing is registering other phones that it has come in contact with so that if that phone sends out a code, it will say, oh, I was within distance of that device.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just because it's the government and there's that.
The government already knows where you are.
No, not me. I took my chip out.
Oh, it's still back here. Yeah. Anyway, that is pretty much it. There wasn't, we weren't actually going to do a show today, but
it was a slow news week, and then EA went and tried to bore us to sleep. So we figured,
let's do a show.
Let's do something. I think if EA had not, had that, whatever you want to call that, I don't know if we had enough news to. We had enough material to make fun of them for 20 minutes, so we figured, what the heck, we'll go.
Can I make fun of one more thing about it?
You may.
During the show, they kept saying, watch for the gold letters. It's going to spell out a code that you can type in and possibly win free games. And right as soon as the show started, I'm like, oh, it's going to spell EA Play. Sure enough, it spelled EA Play Live. I mean, really? Is that the code? EA Play Live? This is your secret code on a show called EA Play Live?
Well, I mean, initially it was like, oh, you're going to get games. Then it's like, oh, you might win games.
You might.
And then it's like, you might win games on Steam.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm not looking anymore.
And not only that, Tico, but you have to select the 1 or 2 games you may want to try to win. You don't just enter the contest. You actually select the game that you want to try to win. It's like, what? Yeah,
no. No, thank you.
It was, oh my gosh.
That's not worth it to be on an
what
EA
a train wreck
marketing list for the rest of my life.
I will be honest, though. EA does not, as a whole, EA games no longer interest me.
I like sports stuff, but that being said, from EA, I will play Madden when it comes to EA Access. Golf is 2K now. Basketball is 2K now. The racing games don't interest me that much. I mean, I'll play them when they come to EA Access.
For EA,
Dragon 8.
There's Need for Speed and there's the BioWare stuff.
Yeah.
And that's
BioWare stuff I'm interested in.
Oh, and Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, the Star Wars. Listen, I'm interested in Star Wars, but they've also managed to bungle a number of the Star Wars titles as well.
Not recently.
So, no, their last one was fantastic.
Their last several, the Battlefronts.
I'm not a huge.
No, but they're fantastic games, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I
want a single player story that really feels engaging.
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, that one. That's the one. That's it.
They've done fantastic with Star Wars games, and Squadron is looking amazing. I cannot wait.
Well, and by the way, I did look it up. October 2nd and $39 US.
Oh my gosh, that just seems weird.
I sent you the article.
Of course, 6 months down the road, it'll be in the vault.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Or half price.
Yeah, that's
okay. Tico.
I'm still angry about that.
Tico, call it. When is it going to be?
Okay, so 50, it's an October 2nd release, but it is
50% off. When is it going to be 50% off?
When is it going to be 50%? Okay.
And then when does it hit the vault?
All right, so October 2nd is a Friday. So I'm going to say 50% off by December 8th.
So for Christmas.
For Christmas, December 8th is the 50% or more off.
Okay.
And it hits the vault. I'm going to go with I'm going to say May of next year for Star Wars Day.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go May of next year. I think that they're going to hold off on popping it into the vault. They don't pop things into the vault that often.
That's true. But it does hit
EA.
It'll hit EA Access for cheap.
Well, it's always 10% off with EA Access.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it for this week's episode. You can, of course, follow the show on Twitter at the OMG Hour, and I am Ziantane everywhere, and that is XIANTAYNE.
And you can follow me on Twitter at
Mr. Second Place. He cut out again.
In case you didn't know who I was, because I didn't introduce myself at the beginning. That's who I was the whole time.
Yeah, except we didn't hear you because you cut out. So no one knows who you are anymore. That's it.
Mr. Second Place. At Mr. Second Place.
No,
at Mr. Second Place.
It's too late.
No?
It's too late.
At Mr. Second Place.
We're gone.
At Mr. Second Place.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.